What's up, boys? It's Wild. The Valorant Act is coming to a close in the next few days, and with that, I've been seeing the usual end of act ranked complaining on Twitter, and kind of got me thinking about, the rank system in general, and some of the main complaints I tend to hear about it. I think a lot of people are overlooking what the real problems are. I don't think they focus on what's actually fixable and stuff like that, so I figured I would make a video just talking about that stuff. Yeah, so in this vid, I'm not really going to be focusing too much on the lower ranks. The reason for that is that I do actually believe that the rank system works pretty well at the lower ranks. Like the mid and low ranks, I do think it works pretty well over there. And I think most of the quality difference in games just comes from the individuals in your games and the fact that lower ranked players are just gonna have a much bigger variance in the way that they perform, which is not a fault of any ranked system, and it's not something any ranked system can really fix. It's just a fact that lower level players are just gonna be inconsistent, and they're gonna be better at certain parts of the game and worse than other parts of the game that players at their rank might be better at the parts of the game that they're worse at, and so you just get this mishmash of weird games that can just vary really heavily. But so again, I do think there are some things that Riot could probably improve on, and I'll touch on those later. Alright, so let's get into the juicy stuff, okay? So this is the real reason why Riot is never going to fix ranked, okay? So the main complaint I hear from a lot of pros and Radiant players is stuff like, bro, I'm Radiant top 100. Why do I still get Immortal? Like, why do I have these Immortal 2s in my game? There's Immortal 3 in my games. Like, that's, like, honestly the main one. They just complain about their teammates being bad, and they blame it on the rank system. Alright. So this is somewhat valid, right? I get it. It definitely feels bad to go from what feels like basically like a tier 1 scrim lobby where 8 players are pros into games where you load in and you look at the act ranks and people are like top 5k immortal, right? It feels bad. You're like, fuck, man, that's like such a big difference in the quality of game I'm about to play versus the one I just played. And you want to get mad and blame the rank system. All right. But the thing that people don't really think about is that it's not like the game wants to put you in those lobbies, right? The fact that you end up in those lobbies is a solution to the lack of suitable games that the system has to put you in. So think about it like this. If you're in Radiant and you expect an all Radiant lobby, that means the game only has a pool of 500 players to create matches with. Alright, now consider the fact that not every player is playing at all times. That cuts the pool down some more. Add in the fact that not every player queues every server. That cuts the pool down some more. Then factor in the fact that maybe 5 games are currently being played with all Radiant players. And if that's the case, then that's 50 less Radiant players that you have to pick from. So when you account for all of these things, at any given time you might be queuing, there may not even be enough Radiant players queuing at the same time on your servers at the time you're queuing to even fill up a game. It's possible, right? So overall, what this means is that if you want your lobbies to be full of Radiant players, you're gonna have to expect a very long queue time to get it, right? Currently, the longer your queue goes, the wider the matchmaking range becomes. So what it really comes down to is what you value more: having shorter queue times or having higher quality games at the cost of longer queue times. And I think this is really like the crux of the issue, because Riot is never going to be able to satisfy both sides. This is why they can't fix the rank system, right? Because it just depends on who you are, what you're going to prefer. If you're a streamer, you're going to want shorter queues to keep viewers more engaged. They don't want to watch you sit in a queue for 15 minutes while you just spam ads at them. Like, you're going to lose viewers on your stream. And then on the other hand, right, if you're like a pro and you're playing for practice, right? Playing ranked for practice, because believe it or not, you can play ranked for practice and you can still learn things from playing ranked, especially if you're high elo and people are taking the game seriously. That's a big asterisk there, though. So, but if you're that guy, right, and you get a game in 2 minutes and your game's trash every time, like, you're going to be upset too. So somebody's going to be upset no matter what. No matter which side of it you're on, somebody's going to be upset. There's also the issue of half the players not taking ranked seriously. So these guys will get in your games, they will just say, oh, it's just a pug, bro, haha, or they'll complain, oh, wow, these guys are lurking, they're running fakes, haha, right? And this is not, again, this is not something that Riot can fix, right? This is an issue with the culture, right? And a lot of the streamers are, and like pros are honestly very hypocritical, because in one game they will be complaining about ranked, they will complain about no comms, they will complain about these things, and then in another game you will watch them troll and run it down with people in their game that are trying to play seriously. So again, like, that's not something that Riot can fix. You could argue that if ranked had more incentive, that maybe people would take it seriously more. But I really don't believe that that's the case, because people said the same thing before the leaderboard came out. They're going to be like, oh, the leaderboard's going to change everything. And it definitely helped, but the same stuff still happens. It still happens, even with the leaderboard, right? Because if you're not on the cusp of like top 100 or something, a lot of people still don't care. They still don't care. So again, I just don't feel like there's much Riot can do in that regard. Now, as for things that I think Riot can change, the first one that comes to mind is probably the way that the hidden MMR works. It feels right now like the hidden MMR is super sticky, right? So it feels like even when you're winning games consistently, it takes a long time, especially if your account has a lot of games on it. It takes a long time for it to update your hidden MMR and start putting you against better players. So you just end up stuck in these shit games for so long. Sometimes it feels like. So that might be something that they should be looking into. The other thing, and this actually is relevant to the low ranks more so than the high ranks, is in low ranks, you get a pretty big RR bonus for, you know, match MVPing and having a good individual score line. And it might be a little bit too big, right? Because in those games, you're just heavily incentivized to just insta-lock duelist, not play for the team, hunt eco frags, right? So I think there definitely should be some like performance bonus, but I think it probably still needs some tweaking. Same with the hidden MMR. So that's stuff that Riot probably still needs to work on, and, you know, could contribute towards a better ranked experience overall. So yeah, that about sums up my thoughts on the current state of Valorant Ranked. You guys let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree, drop some comments. Tell me I'm an idiot, or tell me that I'm spot on, whatever it is. So let me know, boys. Anyway, I'm Wild. Peace out.